So, hello and welcome to another video from sickmaths.co.uk, sickmaths.co.uk, where you can find pretty much the whole of GCSE and A-level maths video on the website for free, and some amazing revision guides. I say pretty much almost because I've almost done all the videos. So this one's about scatter graphs. What are scatter graphs? Basically, you might have lots of information about, say, people who eat loads of almonds and what their IQ is. So you plot that information. So if they eat a few almonds and their IQ is that high, you plot that there. That's one person, that's another person. Each dot represents a person or a single piece of data. And it basically links this axis to this axis, and you can see there's some sort of pattern going on, and you can draw a line that kind of represents that pattern, and that line is called the line of best fit. It fits this pattern best. Okay, now it's only something you see by eye, so there's no actual fixed way of doing it other than roughly have the same number of dots above and below your line of best fit. But sometimes you have dots completely out, so there could have been mistakes in your experiment or your measurements when you did this stuff, and so sometimes you might ignore a certain dot that doesn't fit the overall pattern. Okay, so the line of best fit seems to show that if you eat lots of almonds, you get more clever because your IQ represents how clever you are. Now, there are different patterns you can have. Some patterns go up like this. That's called a positive correlation. Basically means the two things are linked in a positive by positive correlation. That means when one thing gets bigger, the other one gets bigger. Sometimes that's called direct proportion. So here's an example of direct proportion. The heavier you are, if you get heavier, most people get taller as well. It's not necessarily true because you just might be fat or something, obese. Negative correlation, well, here's an example of negative correlation. Well, the time to dig a hole decreases the more diggers you have. So if you have 100 people digging a hole, it takes less time than if you've only got one person digging a hole, the same hole, for example. Okay, so that's a negative correlation. You can see the line is going downwards. This one is a positive correlation because it's going upwards. And if your dots are all over the place, for example, here's a experiment where they measured the width of your nostril and then checked how clever you are, your IQ, dotted it, and you realize there's no pattern at all. There's no link between these two things. There's a link between these two things, and there's a link between these two things. Obviously, there's a pattern going on, but not over here. And that's correlation and scatter graph done for you. Very simple.